one more?
No, it's just Lil Wayne. What am I doing here?
Are you Lil Wayne or am I Lil Wayne? You got this.
Well, we can both be.
Okay. Sitting in my Bentley, thinking about these hoes. All I do is kill them. Kill them like Nicole. Simpson flag crimson. Smoke them like Winston's. I just bought a new chopper. I treat it like an infant. I lighten up a stogie. It's longer than a hoagie. Situation's getting fishy and I don't eat anchovies. The world kill them all. She answers when I call. Yeah. The cops pull us over. We back. Mike, I thought you were going to throw in some ad-libs in there.
No, I'll have to do it next time.
Okay, we're gonna figure. Like I said, we're still figuring this out. We're gonna get a better intro. But welcome back. This is Heat Check Podcast. I am your host, Christopher Patrick, here with Cody Tallman as normal.
Hello.
And finally getting him on here for the third episode. Our third co-host, Michael Benjamin.
Hey, I appreciate you fellas. Man, I was having FOMO listening to the other two, so I'm excited to be here. But what was that? Is that like the Carter 5, or
no?
His
That's
rock album. I don't even know that.
No, that's
right
a
there.
Mac Miller song.
Yeah, that's off of Mac
Miller.
Miller.
That's from Macadelic. Yeah.
Okay.
The question. What am I doing here? Yeah.
Okay. It's been too long.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well.
I think I drank too much when we did that.
You might have. Yeah. We have some also off the record podcasts that are a little spicy. We'll put those in the members only section if we ever get that launched.
On the Patreon.
Yeah. But let's just get right into it. We're gonna talk some sports today. There's a lot of news that's happened. Like we've been saying, if you're just tuning in for the first time, this is gonna be a once a month podcast, guaranteed. Sometimes we might add some others in there. Some of us, Mike might not be able to make it sometimes. Cody might not be able to make it sometimes. He'll probably always make it.
Yeah.
Either way,
it took me 9 minutes to get here.
I was gonna say he's less than 10 minutes down the road.
He's pretty
Bitch
close.
ass better be here.
Hey, that's not very nice, Michael.
But yeah, so we got some stuff to talk about. We're gonna talk about Kyler Murray and his fifth-year option. We're gonna talk about the Cardinals draft. We're gonna talk about the Phoenix Suns and their playoff push, and the acquisition of Hollywood Brown by the Cardinals. There's so much to talk about. So we're gonna give you our take on all of it and break it down. And let's get right into that. Cody, right before we launched, said he wanted to go into the draft and how that went. So let's get into that first and foremost. They traded away their first pick completely, right?
Did anybody see that coming?
I didn't.
I was shocked.
This draft class was so weak, though. Like looking at it, and
well, no, it was deep at wide receiver. It was deep at defensive end. It was a deep draft. It just wasn't a quarterback draft, so that's why no one's writing about it.
I mean, Kenny Pickett was the only quarterback that was drafted in the first round?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess we could start there. Chris, how do you feel about
20th
that?
20th by the Chris's Steelers.
It's funny because I think it was either in the first or the second episode. Me and Cody were kind of talking about the draft, and we said that you said that the Steelers were going to probably draft Pickett and you said Pickett with the little hands
and the
little wiener.
I didn't say that.
You said that. Go check the tapes.
I bet you he said that.
He said that.
Probably said
but I was like, keep everything I follow about the Steelers. It was like they were the consensus is they were thinking to take Malik Willis. So I was a little bit surprised. But then when you look at it more, it really makes so much sense because he's from Pitt, hometown guy, he's loved there. It's going to be such an easy transition. They say he's the most pro-ready quarterback, but then it kind of calls into question, like they got Trubisky. Rudolph probably still thinks he could be the starter, so there'd be a quarterback battle in that camp. I feel pretty good about it overall.
Yeah, Rudolph needs to go away.
I don't like Rudolph.
He needs to get hit with another helmet.
Something, man. I think they'll either keep 3 and he'll stick around as the third string, or they'll keep 2 and his ass will be on the practice squad.
I mean, I could definitely see, obviously, Trubisky taking the field for the first, 3-4 weeks, and then something crazy happening, the offense not looking too great, then they'll throw Pickett in. But
yeah.
Okay, that's enough of the Steelers. You know what?
Yeah.
Enough. Back to the Cardinals
we can
here.
talk about that. That's okay.
I'd like to start off at the beginning. I know it's a wide receiver deep league, but obviously the whole escapade that's been going on with Kyler Murray, I think they're still trying to play nice in the front office, so that's kind of why they went and made the move to at least you can get some kind of proven commodity from Hollywood Brown, a guy who had 90 catches, over 1,000 yards last year. Kyler Murray's probably his best friend, if you could say anything less. And now it's about putting those, I guess, bad demons to rest and trying to figure out this whole situation so we can move clean into the season at least, because all this shit that's been going on this offseason, I've had enough of it. I don't know about you guys, but
yeah, I was just gonna literally say, like, I think me and Cody have made our feelings on Kyler Murray pretty well known. I'm getting sick of him, but it's like if there's no other viable option out there, I don't know, and it would have to be a quarterback swap situation at this point. Especially, you're not going to draft a kid and start him. Especially, I mean, you can't deny Kyler Murray's some of his talents. He does have ability at certain aspects, but then it's the off-field stuff that is mostly unattractive to me. But anyway, so we've shared our opinions on that. What do you really think of, like, breaking down its antics? You have something, Cody?
Yeah, I was gonna say. So you were saying that you're sick. You're getting sick of Kyler Murray the whole offseason, and then the team goes out and sends a first-round pick to get one of his good friends. So that kind of makes me feel even more sick of Kyler Murray. What is he saying? What is he doing? He's like the little kid that's going to get his way no matter what. So then the fact that they brought in a very familiar face for Kyler Murray, obviously he's going to get his deal. He's getting his way no matter what.
It's
so
like you're like exactly.
I mean, I like it. I like that part of him getting his way. But if you think about it, if you break it down, it's why him? Granted, he fits. Hollywood Brown fits the scheme exactly what we need. We don't need another D-Hop. We don't need to sit here and say, oh, they should have got A.J. Brown, which we don't need A.J. Brown. We need somebody like Hollywood Brown. Too many Browns. Just as long as Hollywood doesn't.
Be careful.
As long as Hollywood doesn't get CTE like the other Brown, I think it's going to work out great. But I'm just like, I was thinking about that driving over here. It was like, how come I don't know how much, obviously he has no say into it, but I just want to know how much chatter he's been putting in. And then the fact that I know we're going to talk about his extension and them picking up his fifth year option, but they're going to give him a deal.
I mean, I like the move at the end of the day, right? You lose Christian Kirk, your deep threat, your guy who could take the top off of the defense.
Brown's way better than Kirk.
You bring in a guy,
and he costs $2.5 million next year.
Yeah,
Sorry,
exactly.
Mike.
And no, that's what we need, But like you say, it's not just about scheme fit here. There's so much more that goes into this. Now it all comes down to, okay, now you got your buddy here. What can you do on your end to give us some wiggle room when it comes down to contracts extensions?
Right.
He needs to grow 2 inches.
What number? Well, unfortunately, I don't think that's going to happen for him unless he puts on some stilts, and I'd be scared to see him on the field like that. But and that's the other thing with Kyler Murray's game that we have to see this year, right? He can extend plays, but it's year 4. You need to start to see things like controlling the pocket, not so many batted balls at the line of scrimmage. His stupid ass spin out move every time that he tries to get out of out of pressure. Defenses are catching on to that, so now it's time for him to adjust on that as well. But you got to play nice, if you're the front office and this is your face of the franchise guy. And I understand the moves that they're making, yeah, but to what point do you bend knee and just say, yeah, I've had enough of it. But I'm okay with what's going on right now. I need to see the progress has been going every year consistently with Kyler Murray and Cliff Kingsbury, right? Now it's playoffs. It's a deep push or bust this year,
Yeah.
Or else it's time to make sweeping changes.
It's a playoff win. We got to win a playoff game.
Well, at this point, man, I want to be in the conference championship. I've had 3-4 years already to figure things out.
Yeah.
You know what you have. You bring in more weapons now. DeAndre Hopkins not getting any younger. It's time to go.
Well, because what you're saying too. Sorry, Chris. I know.
No, go ahead.
Mike and I
this
just
is
feel
great.
like bouncing
this is
back
great.
and forth. Because you're saying you've seen progression and you want to see some more from Murray when it comes to on the field things. What I want to see the most from him is off the field, on the sideline, in the locker room. Is he going to man up and actually be a leader rather than a child? That's
the maturity aspect.
That's what we really need. He needs to finish that playoff game when they get embarrassed in LA. He can't send in the veteran in there when the veteran's going to tell him to go finish the game because he really suggests that he does. He needs to go finish the game, and he needs to accept defeats with his team and not be sitting on the sideline while the rest of the starting lineup finishes the game, but he's going to sit there and not finish it. So we need to see leadership from him, and that's really going to help them out. He's always going to have batted balls at the line. When you're 5'9.5" or whatever, he's going to get balls batted down all the time. But
Okay.
But how does he rally the people around him?
Right. And I like what you said there. Like, he needs to be the leader, but leadership is top down, right? So it starts with Steve Keim, goes to Cliff Kingsbury, or it starts with Bidwell, then it goes to Steve Keim, then Cliff Kingsbury, and then Kyler Murray. And so you got to wonder, Cliff is this player's coach. He's a young guy. He's hip. He's cool. He's dating models. But is he being maybe too light on these guys? And there's not enough discipline in that locker room. I mean, you would think bringing in a guy like J.J. Watt and a veteran like Hopkins who have played in that kind of mindset and together that they would be able to transform the culture. But are any of these guys getting through to Kyler Murray? And is that maybe why? Is it whoever has the decision making, Keim and Bidwell? Is that why they're exercising the fifth-year option rather than signing him to max dollars, making him the highest paid quarterback in the NFL? Because that's what he wants.
Yeah, 100%. And you bring up a good point too, is you can have the leadership coming from up top as well. But, when you have guys like D-Hop or AJ Green saying, oh, I'm doing extra work at OTAs and I don't see Kyler, or if he's over here on his phone doing all this kind of stuff. I mean, what are those guys doing to get in Kyler Murray's ear saying,
right,
hey, this isn't the proper way to be a leader, to show your team where you have to go to take that next step. We have all the skill in the world. Now we need somebody to really take us over the top and be that guy to push us further. Mm-hmm. I know he's a young guy, but what are those veterans doing to help him grow as well?
Right.
I don't want to see it on Twitter or hear about it. I need to know what you're doing to talk to him and push him through that. Yeah, maybe they say some things. Oh, I tried. He just brushes me off. And it's like, well, you don't stop trying.
Right.
If that's your guy,
absolutely,
if that's your guy that's going to take you to the promised land, you got to be in his ear 24/7, trying to teach him and get him to that spot.
100%.
But unfortunately, it sounds like we're not getting that yet.
No, and managing him with kid gloves, like you guys have pointed out, bending the knee in every aspect, signing his friend, getting the coach he likes, setting everything up to make it cushy for him. And it's like, I don't want to be the boomer that's like, oh, this generation is soft. But I mean, when it's shown that way, you can't manage tough love, so you get the kid gloves, and they're just fucking letting him slide and get away with that playoff thing, and then not. I mean, they haven't rewarded him with the big contract yet, so we'll see. But it's got to come, right? Because it's that.
Oh, he gets it. He gets it before the season
he gets
starts.
paid. He's already made it clear he gets paid, or
Yeah.
he bitches his way out of town.
It's inevitable.
No, it happens. So them picking up the fifth year, because I just looked up. I wanted to see how much his fifth year option was worth. And it's like $24 million.
Yeah, I think
just for the fifth year.
I think I had that.
Because right now, I think look at what he's going to make this year. It's not a lot. I think it's like 4. Is it 4 million or 3 million? Because he's not going to play for that, and they're not going to let him sit on the sideline.
I think it's crazy how rookie deals are broken down nowadays.
You get a lot of money up front.
You do. You get your signing bonuses and that, but if it's like a star in the league, man, nobody makes it past their third year without re-signing anymore.
Well, he gets a $5.5 million
roster bonus
signing.
Okay,
bonus.
so his
total is $13 million.
What's his base salary though? That's what we want to look at. Okay, so his base is dog shit.
Right, but they make it up with all the bonuses. So whatever the cap hit is probably what he takes home.
So yeah, then look at the
11 million.
Oh, I said 24. So yeah, 29. Look at his fifth year option, 2023. So by them picking that up, it's like, hey, give us a little more time to figure this out.
Million,
like, just chill out, Like we already picked it up. Like even if we don't come to agreement on a long-term deal, you're still gonna get $30 million.
That's like the rookie version of a franchise tag, right? Basically.
Yeah. But they're gonna give him a deal. They brought in his butt buddy. They traded the.
Whoa.
Sorry, my bad. They're gonna make some brown together.
Oh Jesus.
But that's exactly why it happened, to give them that wiggle room to try and figure out what the next steps are. Because maybe, Hollywood's the one who's going to go into his ear. It's like, hey, just take your 5th-year extension. You're going to get $40 million when the contract comes around anyways. Let's see what kind of other pieces we can build around, and then by the time it's time to sign that $40 million deal,
and
we're even closer than we are now.
Exactly, and they're trying to play a tough game too. It's like Cardinals have 2 years of control over him. Obviously, they don't want to sour the relationship, but if he doesn't play, he's going to ruin his career. So if he sits out, if he holds out, his career's shot. So obviously, we don't want that. We want Kyler Murray to play because this is the best we've seen the Cardinals since we've had old-ass Carson Palmer, which was, but...
The good old days.
Yep.
Carson Palmer. That's crazy to say the good old days are Carson Palmer.
Well, the good old days would be Kurt Warner, I would say, but...
That's even crazy, too.
Yeah. Well, that's over 10 years ago. So, but even with Hollywood, they have 2 years of control on Hollywood, and then, so they're going to have to pay Kyler. We're already paying D-Hop a lot. They're going to have to pay Hollywood. Yeah, AJ Brown got that 4-year, $100 million. So yeah, this year we might be able to get by. They owe him, I think, $2.5 million, like I said earlier, and then they can pick up his fifth-year option, and I think it's $12.4 million next year for Hollywood. So then they're gonna give him an extension, because why don't you keep him around? He's about to be cruising into his prime this year. So
yeah, well, so bringing this back, we wanted to talk about the draft to kick this off. And it just shows the moves they make it continues the narrative and the trend that it's all about Kyler Murray and all about for him. So with the first pick, they traded away and get Marquise Brown.
And then happy.
With the second pick, they get Trey McBride from Colorado State. I don't know anything about this guy, but
he's supposed to be good pass catcher. He can block. He's kind of a mix.
Okay.
He's kind of like I was about to say he's kind of like a Gronkowski. By no means is he even close to that, but Gronk can block, Gronk can catch. So he's similar to that. Zach Ertz can't block, he can catch. Mm-hmm. Max Williams can catch a little bit, but he's mostly a blocking tight end. When you scheme it up, he's the blocker.
So they'll have him and Ertz, and if with all these weapons that Kyler Murray is having, and them trying to make the situation as cushy as possible for him. Cody, you're right. I don't see how they're going to be able to pay J.J. Watt, DeAndre Hopkins, Marquise Brown.
Well, Watt's going to retire.
Yeah, Watt probably will retire.
I don't know if they might give him if we're looking good this year.
But even that's an even better case.
They might give him like a 1 year.
No, but that's an even better case
for Larry Fitz, guaranteed $11
for
million.
win now. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Larry Fitz $11 million. Yeah. God damn it. But that's what I'm saying. Like, it's got to be a win now situation because like you're saying, he's retiring. They got these guys that are going to want big contracts. They probably won't be able to keep them all.
Well, they paid. Who else do they have to pay?
Well, they just signed Ertz, right?
Yeah, so Ertz is in. Ertz is going to be 34 by the end of his deal. Like, so he will be out the door.
Buda Baker?
They already paid Baker. They made him one of the.
Well, exactly.
They made him the highest paid safety. Yeah, but he's locked down for another 3 years, I think.
But what I'm saying is it's a cap hit. Like.
Well, yeah, of course, yeah. So I'm sure. Well,
and it only gets more expensive the further
they put
the
it all
contract
in the end.
it gets.
Yeah, they worry.
So
about
as we get closer to the end,
they kick it down the road. They worry about it later.
Well, we re-signed James Conner this offseason as well.
Right.
That's a running back.
Who's our best cornerback right now?
Robert Alford. Is he even still on the roster?
No, it's Byron Murphy is our best cornerback.
Yeah, okay.
So we got Murphy. The rookie last year was really good. Alfred's still under contract, right?
About to find out.
Did you guys see who was that dude that we was it Butler? What was his name? The guy that we signed last year.
So,
you remember? And then he retired.
Before. Malcolm Butler.
Malcolm Butler. He signed with the Patriots. Did you see that?
That's probably kind of his riding off into the sunset.
Yeah.
Last time.
Like he literally signed. Like he retired from the Cardinals, and then this season, offseason, he just re-signed with the Patriots.
Of course. That's the kind of stuff that Patrick Peterson sees, and then he licks his chops and goes on to his own podcast, and he's like, see? these guys, man, they know the Cardinals. You can't be there. You're not going to be successful. There's a reason Larry didn't come back, and whatever the hell, man.
Well, he's just sad that he can't play football anymore.
Did you guys hear about this contract here? Justin Pugh.
Yeah, Pew.
5 years, $44.75 million. So that's where some money's going. A good.
But he's a good guard though.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You got to pay these guys
As long as he's healthy.
you got to pay DJ Humphries 3 years, $43 million.
But those are the last contracts they'll probably give those two guys though. They already paid them. But yeah, you're right. It adds, like we said, it adds up with the salary cap. But scroll down, Hudson. They're already paying him.
I mean, Isaiah Simmons is probably going to be the next.
Yeah, he's going to be
the other
a big one
that comes up. Devon Kennard won't be re-signed, anything like that.
Golden will be gone after 2.
Yeah, so look, how many are expiring so this is going to be the 2022-2023 season. So you got Justin's is expiring in this year. DJ Humphries is expiring this year.
They'll probably sign Hump.
Watt's retiring or expiring.
Yeah, he's only got 1 year left. Yeah,
and Devin Kennard. Yeah, so they got a bunch of these. So yeah, that's a good point. These big contracts are expiring, and they could be replaced with the guys like Marquise Brown, Kyler Murray, which is likely the case. Where they're saying, just hold on, let us look at the big picture and figure everything out. And Kyler Murray's. But okay, the other thing that Mike, I'm sorry, I just got to flip this real quick. Kyler Murray and Cliff Kingsbury have the same agent, and I'm not saying that Cliff is like involved in that, but like, how do you feel about that? No type of way?
No, not any type of way. I think when it comes to coaches and the actual players, it's a little bit different. Obviously, they're going to be in each other's ears saying, "Hey, I want to be there long term with you." So there was always that game plan when they brought in Cliff. It was going to be Cliff and Kyler because they knew that was going to be the number one.
Yeah.
But I don't know how you can go around and not say that you're not going to give Kyler Murray $40 million.
It's going to happen.
It's just going to happen. The
Do
way
it
that the
already.
salary cap keeps breaking.
You're either all in or you're not.
You have to be.
Next year
Yeah.
they're going to have to pay him $45 million if they wait because they're going to sign some stupid idiot like they did like with the Christian Kirk with the wide receiver market or with the Deshaun Watson and the Browns. They pay him now so that you get him under control, make him happy, and the next year it's going to be $45 million a year or $50 million a year. So they might as well if they pay him $40 million a year, awesome, do it, go. You're going to have to do it because another team will, and the next year it's going to be 45.
And I know there's a lot of headaches that come with it, but just still got to be honest. He's probably the best quarterback that we've seen as an athlete. Since the franchise has been in Arizona.
The raw talent, yeah.
I'm okay
it's
with
there.
paying him $40 million. It's just about taking those next steps. I know he's a young guy, but, it's time to grow up. It's time to be a leader. And hopefully bringing all of his buddies in are going to help push him in the right direction.
It could help him. It could hurt him.
As far as the draft, I'm looking here. Trey McBride, Mackey Award winner for country's best tight end, had over 1,100 yards, 90 catches, saying he can go outside and inside. Ideal complement for Ertz and Max Williams. I mean, it all depends on, how strong that leg's going to be for Max when he comes by, next time. But then they get two defensive ends.
His shit. Yeah, that's right.
Cameron Thomas from San Diego State and Micah Sanders from Cincinnati. Well, now we're trying to find replacement for Chandler Jones.
Yeah, of course.
That was the biggest need, defensive end, but they took the best available, which Mike just went over.
2 in a row.
The tight end.
2 and 3, round 2. Oh no, round 2 and round 3 actually.
Yeah.
87 and 100.
Then they don't have any 4th or 5th round picks. In the 6th round, they get Keontae Ingram, running back from USC. We need a backup now since Chase Edmonds gone.
Sure.
You don't like Eno?
I mean, no. Sorry. I'll just be straight up honest. No.
That's
Maybe pass catching out of the backfield, but
they still have the other guy, Foster, right?
Oh, DJ Foster from ASU? Oh man, might as well just
get all the ASU.
I know.
all the ASU guys
all right,
in
keep
here.
going,
The
keep
pipeline
going,
flowing.
keep going.
once again,
Foster.
it's a mystery. Round 7, we get Christian Matthew, cornerback from Valdosta State.
What the
I can't.
fuck?
I can't. That's the one gripe that I've had with this organization for the past 6 years. It seems like is how is the cornerback room not able to grow and be one of the most dominant within the NFL, especially when you had Patrick Peterson, who was a number 1 shutdown corner. If you just get somebody else that's a little competent alongside with them, like how did it take so long? I know they finally thought Robert Alford was going to be the guy, but then he hurts himself and is out for 2 years straight, and we just can never get that room shored up. I don't understand. So now you're playing catch up, and then we don't spend any early draft picks to try and get a cornerback again. I just don't understand what's going on with they must think that Byron Murphy is the dude, but I don't know.
He is a dude, but
and then once
his
again,
supporting
we're
cast is
talking
very
about
bad.
bringing in Kyler Murray's all of his buddies. Marquise Hayes, guard out of Oklahoma. He's a former teammate with Kyler Murray and Marquise Brown. So
There you go.
maybe you bring in some more guys who are in his corner to start steering him down the right ship, and we get to where we need to go. So
God, is he that young that
I mean,
he's still?
it seems like he's mending the relationship on both sides. Like he said, I want to play in Arizona. I want to win a championship in Arizona. So hopefully this year he can walk the walk and talk the talk, or whatever, talk the talk and walk the walk. Because he's saying this is what I'm going to do, and he's committed. So hopefully he shows it, and I think time will tell.
I don't know. I feel like this would be the first year where I'd actually go to a Cardinals game when they're playing the Seahawks. We can beat that ass.
I'd be down. It's like a day trip out to Glendale.
You mean when they have Baker Mayfield?
We're still gonna beat that ass. Come on.
Oh, totally.
But Baker hasn't been traded yet, has he?
No, I think we would know.
Still in no man's land, trying to
Yeah,
figure out what's going
yeah.
on with him.
I don't think anyone.
That's
wants
got to
him.
be so weird. Like, does he go to the training facility and is like working out, and they're like, you're definitely never gonna play here again.
Well, he probably walks in. And they're like, you know what, Baker, you can just go home. It's okay.
He's
Well,
working.
you
from
don't have
home.
to come in. It's fine.
We'll send the weight room to you. We'll drop off some FedEx boxes.
That's great.
He's just like, yeah, send us a video, like they did with Gronk. They're like, send us a video to show you're working out. Work from home.
Yeah,
Oh, what is
they probably just have him doing more commercials.
easily? An ad started playing
Not that
on a video. But yeah, so I mean, that's what the Cardinals are working with. I mean, I think we could talk about that all day, and I could certainly bitch about Kyler Murray all day. Do you guys want to break down anything else? Do you have anything else to say about the draft, Marquise Brown acquisition, Kyler Murray contract? I mean, that's really pretty much all that's going on that I know of.
No, not really. I think we touched it. The Marquise Brown Hollywood. I love that. That's gonna be great. It's gonna be an awesome duo. Hop, Brown. They brought AJ back for 1 year. The last year the rookie Rondale Moore. Pop him in the slot, the number 4. It's gonna be good. It's gonna look good.
That's what I was saying. Kyler's got HGH now. Hopkins, Green, and Hollywood.
Well, he needs some HGH so he can grow a fucking
Print the
couple
t-shirts,
inches.
man.
Even though that's not really the depth chart order, probably
No,
will be
no.
Hopkins,
Yeah, AJ will
Hollywood,
be third.
Green, probably.
Yeah,
He just needs to learn how to turn around. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good, man. The last sentiment is it's growth. It's got to be. Obviously, this offseason, not a lot was happening. Not a lot of big-time signings, either than guys that we already had.
Right.
So, obviously, they know something that probably we don't. I mean, we don't work there for a reason. But that's it, man. It's go time.
There's a reason
man.
why we have 9 to 5s.
It's go time.
No, all right, last thought. I'm just when I saw they took a tight end with the second-round pick, I was a little perplexed on that. Was hoping it would have been a defensive end or a cornerback, which those are our two glaring holes
Cornerback.
on the defense. But hey, is what it is, and they made up for it. Took 2 defensive ends after that tight end pick. I was a little confused by that, but What was his name? McBride. He better be fucking good.
McBride.
He better be fucking good, Steve Keim. I swear to God.
That's a
Well, I'm coming for you,
draft
Keim.
pick. So let's move away from the Cardinals and the draft and on to the Suns and the playoff series they got coming up with the Dallas Mavericks. Mike, we were talking a little bit before we launched here. I'm thinking this is going to be a 5-game series. I think the Mavs could steal one, and Luka will assert his dominance and everyone will start the talk of, oh, we should have drafted Luka instead of DeAndre. But in 5 or 6, I'm going to say 5, but maybe 6, the Suns are going to get it. What about you guys?
Yeah, let's retire Suns in 4. Let's not bring
those
it back.
Those days are gone. We need to
gone.
cut it out.
As much as I loved it, Suns in 5. I think the Mavs will steal maybe Game 3 or Game 4 to extend it, and then we'll come and close it out. Just to start off, I'm so happy that this other series is over.
Right, same. That was rough.
I can't. I knew I was a little bit worried about the Pelicans going into it because their record really didn't show the team that they were, especially after that McCollum trade. Mm-hmm. It's just a different team. And I think
that's what, they were definitely not an 8 seed if they had CJ McCollum from the beginning of the season. And I'm so glad you brought that up. We should start at the beginning, since we're bringing you in now. We have a series that was 6 games, right? And it was tough, and Devin Booker's injured, and I want to talk about the lingering injury. But yeah, sorry to cut you off there, but overall, like, I am so glad, like you said, I'm glad to be beyond this series, and Alvarado was a pest, and there was that narrative with Willie Green, and so emotions were high.
Man, I wish somebody would have tripped that motherfucker, man. He was such a pest.
Yeah, that dude was driving me crazy. I was texting Cody all week. Like, I don't want to say I hate Alvarado, but that dude sucks.
Fuck Alvarado.
Did you put any props on him, Cody?
Fuck Silverado.
Silverado?
Did I put
You put any props on
props
Alvarado?
on Alvarado to be a douchebag? No.
I had all my money on that.
That'd be like minus 10,000.
I did have one.
Those odds would not be good.
I did have one of my. I did a same game parlay with the Suns and Pelicans during that series, and I had Alvarado to have at least 1 turnover, and he didn't fucking turn it over.
Oh,
no
my
way.
Goodness.
Well, he was always like, he'd over 5.5 points. The motherfucker always end up hitting like 3 fucking 3-pointers. Anyway, sorry. No, you guys were on a roll.
He's scrappy.
Well, I just waiting for Chris Paul to punch him in the fucking throat.
But no, I want Mike to go in right now because this is the episode 3 of the Heat Check podcast, and he's just now getting in here. I mean, me and Cody had the kind of episode 2 is kind of a bonus because, like I said, we're gonna try and do this at least once a month. We're gonna try and do this podcast, get all 3 of us in here. I got it in my calendar marked, and I'm gonna remind them, and they already know that we're stoked to do this. And when we can, we'll sneak some other ones in there. But yeah. So Mike, that's what I'm saying. I want to hear what you got to say about a lot of these stuff, and that's why we had to talk about some of the stuff we've already covered, like Kyler Murray. But now we're on to the Suns, and like we got the Pelicans series we can reflect on, and the Mavericks series upcoming, and I think we can even maybe. I don't want to speculate and project beyond. I think the Warriors are inevitably who we'll face in the Western Conference Finals, and just. What are your feelings moving forward throughout the playoff run here?
Yeah, are you ready for the spiel? I got a spiel.
Go in, brother. The floor is yours.
I guess at the end of the day, the first thing, if you're a Suns fan and you had really any doubt, shame on you. This team has shown the guts and the grime all season long to overcome any kind of situation that is put in front of them and just clutch time. And we saw it consistently throughout this series. Good teams are always going to grab a couple of games off you, especially when you're reeling and you don't have your primary scorer.
Yeah.
I'm glad that obviously it was only a mild strain, and we'll get more into Devin Booker and whatnot, but I was a little worried at points, especially when Brandon Ingram really started getting hot, and
they couldn't miss a shot.
He was putting in, 25 through 3, and that's those situations where you're like, well, he's still a young player in the grand scheme of things, but he was starting to close out. I mean, specifically in game 2, he put the team on his back and
Oh, that was
took
when we
that
watched
series-
that cold beers.
Yeah.
Huh? Yeah, it was brutal.
We can't watch any more games at cold
No.
beers for
No.
the
I
rest
mean,
We're
when
not
you
allowed
have
to.
the
Sorry.
two feeds going on, and then you can't figure out the audio, and you're playing the
That's right,
audio
yep.
from the one that's not
Terrible.
in front,
Terrible.
and they're both 8 seconds delayed. It was madness. I was gonna have an
That
aneurysm
place
by the end of
sucks. Fuck that place.
It's crazy because when the Suns weren't as good, I don't want to get too off topic, but when the Suns weren't good and when the Eric Bledsoe days, the dark days, you would walk into a bar and it would not be on. A Suns game's not on.
But you'd have to ask the bartender to put it on.
Absolutely. So I mean,
It's still like that for the D-backs.
it is
It's
still
probably going to be like
Well,
that for a while.
That's what it's
Well,
like. Well, because
yeah.
Arizona sports is, as much as we hate to admit it, it's still a fair weather sports town. I mean, obviously the Suns are probably going to have the most diehard fans, but overall, this is a transplant town. Chicago, New York, Wisconsin. There's a lot of Packers fans. L.A. especially, ton of the Dodgers games are all sellouts, and you would think that you were at Dodger Stadium.
Mm-hmm.
It's fucking annoying. Because I'm such a hothead, I can't even go to those games anymore because I'm gonna
I
probably
wouldn't
get
go
in a
with you.
fucking
No
fight
more
match or
Doyer.
something.
But even
Games for Chris.
Doyer, even with the Suns during the regular season when they were on the what was it? They won 17 in a row, 18 in a row, right?
Yeah.
Something like that.
That was right. I think they started 1-3, and then they rallied
Yeah,
off
and then they went. Yeah.
17,
So
18 in a
even
row.
when they were winning 17 games in a row, you'd walk into your local bar and be like, "Dude, the Suns are playing tonight, dude. Like, can you put it on the TV?" You know.
I mean, you guys remember that one time? I
Like
literally
right now is bandwagon time. That's why it's. Yeah, but go ahead.
I had just asked the bartender to put on the Suns game. It was Eric Bledsoe days or right around that time, and it was at Buffalo Wild Wings. And there were some regulars there that were like Blackhawks fans.
Oh, the
'cause
hockey
hockey
team.
season runs concurrent to the basketball season. And yeah, they were like, it's dangerous asking to turn off a Blackhawks game. And I'm like, do you know where I don't know what I said, but it was like, I don't care. We're in Arizona, and I'm going to watch the Suns game.
Nobody gives a fuck about hockey.
I'd ask to put on the fucking Toronto Blue Jays versus Cleveland Guardians game over any freaking NHL game, bro.
Absolutely.
I don't give a
Yeah,
shit about it.
absolutely.
If you're a Blackhawks fan or not.
If you came here for hockey, get the fuck out.
I can follow hockey more now than I ever could, but I'm still not. I don't follow it, and I'm not that interested. And
Well, it's fun to bet on.
we do, and all of us I have done some hockey bets, but
It was a
like,
lot of fun.
we did. I did fantasy hockey once, but it's not the appeal. It's all football first, probably basketball and baseball are probably tied for second, if I had to say.
Right.
But that's getting off topic into the weeds. Looking at the playoff bracket here, like we were saying, the Suns are about to start their series against Dallas. I think tomorrow is game one on Monday, and then Golden State one up. Draymond Green had a nasty flagrant 2 where he slapped was it Brandon
Right in the mouth.
Brandon Clark,
yeah.
right in the fucking mouth and drug him down by his jersey. I mean, we're not. It's nothing new from Draymond. He's punching people in the nuts and playing dirty. But I don't think anyone, when the Suns are playing their best ball, nobody's as deep as the Suns. But that's been the bear for us is that Campaign isn't playing like he was. Luckily, JaVale McGee though has stepped in and kind of been. But that's two different roles entirely.
Aiden's been looking good.
Ayton's been looking good. He's been a double-double machine. I mean, he had some trouble with Valanciunas. That dude's a solid veteran. But
Yeah, but he's a mountain of a man.
yeah. So Mike? What do you expect? Looking at like the matchups and the Mavericks roster. I know you were kind of looking through that. You said Tim Hardaway Jr. is out right now. He's injured.
Yeah, and I don't know if he's going to be back for next series, but and this can go into what we saw in the last series as well. Cody, Valanciunas is big, but there was a lot of times where they went with the two big lineup with Jackson Hayes. Man, we were
Bitch-ass Jackson.
seriously
fuck
out
him.
rebounded.
Yeah.
Which I don't see that as a problem against the Mavericks. I mean, you have Dwight Powell, but their other big is Maxi Kleber, and they don't even play Bertans, and he's outside shooter anyways. But I think DeAndre Ayton should be able to have his way in the post. You got to get him started early, the same way that they did in this series. And a big part of that was because Devin Booker was out, so they didn't get Devin started, and they just got it to DA early and let Chris Paul finish late. But a lot of the problems that we were seeing with the Pelicans, I don't think we're going to have with the Mavericks. You're not going to have a pesky defender like Alvarado, giving Chris Paul that many problems.
Yeah.
You're going to be able to put Mikal Bridges on the one main scorer and Luka Doncic instead of having to pick and choose. Okay, is he going to be on McCollum tonight because he's hot, or are you going to stick with Brandon Ingram?
Watch out for Brunson.
I mean,
He
can
filled
put Booker on him. I think you'll be able.
Yeah,
just
but
fine.
he filled Luka's shoes when he was out the first couple games.
Exactly, but Utah doesn't have any lockdown defenders. Like
that's
that.
what I was gonna say.
Jordan
No.
Clarkson, Donovan Mitchell doesn't play.
It'd be a whole other
fucking lick at
conversation.
defense.
What is
Yeah,
wrong
Mitchell is-
with the Jazz that they're losing a series when Doncic only played half the
I
series?
think they just have more internal issues that have kind of come to light more recently.
There's a lot of things.
Mitchell and Rudy Gobert aren't the greatest of friends, I guess.
I mean, Rudy Gobert is the reason COVID-19 spread. Wait, I might not be able to say that shit.
Here,
Patient
Chris,
zero.
let me touch your mic.
Hold on. This is going on YouTube and Spotify.
I
Hold
also
on.
wonder with them,
I just tested positive yesterday.
Oh shit.
them trading away Joe Ingles. I wonder how much of that really ruined the team.
Glass.
The team chemistry. I don't even know where he went. Where did he go? New York? Is that where they sent him?
Pacers.
Joe Ingles?
Joe Ingles?
Pacers.
I have no idea. I can look that up real quick.
But good riddance, man.
I will-
I would have loved to play the
I will
Jazz
bet
because
one
I would
Garnetto on it.
have I would have said Suns in 4 on that one because they're
Oh,
a
against
mess.
the Jazz? The Jazz
Yeah,
are garbage. Oh
they're
yeah.
a mess.
Oh, and that's what I'm saying. Like we talk about, like me and Cody are the degenerate gamblers of the hosts here on the Heat Check podcast. And there were so many times
Hey.
where the Jazz would lose games that they shouldn't have lost, and where you would like think that they were clear cut, favorite. Obviously, the spread was appealing, and they would just fuck it up. So I knew they were weak coming into the playoffs. So I'm not surprised.
Well, they
at
could
all.
only beat dog shit teams.
And sometimes
I
they
was
couldn't.
big.
And sometimes they couldn't even beat
Yeah.
dog shit teams. Is what I'm
No,
saying.
you're right. I was big on the Mavs because of Doncic, but then when he didn't play the first 2 games of that series, right?
I have no idea. Yeah,
First 2 or 3.
but
I think it's 2 or 3.
That's-
Yeah, I didn't watch it very closely.
So
but
going back to the Suns, like these guys, it's a new thing in the NBA where, I mean, probably for the best, they worry about the longevity of their career, but they take injuries very seriously. Whereas people call it soft, but like in the 90s, they would play through tears and breaks and whatever, like grind and grit, whatever you got to do to get through it. Probably not the smartest long term, but it is what it is. So now these guys are going out like Doncic, Mitchell, Booker has the hamstring. Like these guys, Chris Paul last year got injured. It's just inevitable that players are going to get injured, and whether it's the regular season or the playoffs. I'm just wondering, I'm tying this back in. Devin Booker had that leg injury, and he has a little bit his minutes limited in the last game. He didn't start the third, didn't come in until I think 4 or 5 minutes left in the third. Can't remember if he finished out the fourth, but do you worry about Booker's longevity through the playoffs here? And is he 100% or is he tough guy in it and coming back too early?
At this point, I'm really not too worried. I mean, hamstring injuries are always hit or miss. For some guys, they can be healed up within 5 days. Others, it lingers. It's almost like if you take one wrong step, it can pull and tighten, and then you're out another 2-3 games. But we know what he went through last year. Damn near broke his face. I think he had.
Yeah, that's true.
I think
that
he
Pat
had
Bev?
leg injuries as well in the finals, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure he had a hamstring injury for those last like 3 or 4 games in the Bucks series.
He
I think you're
He
right.
did, yes.
Yeah.
So I mean, young man wants it. So it don't matter. This is the time of year you've been playing so much basketball. Things are going to be happening, but the guys like that are going to get over it and they're going to push through it. Which
Yeah.
is Doncic. It depends on the severity of it, but I'm surprised that he didn't play to start this series. I thought he would have been ready to go, but maybe that was more so just maintenance, and they weren't worried about the Jazz like they probably didn't need to be anyways. But I mean, this team, man, it's next man up mentality. That's what they always say. I know it's a cliche. The Cardinals have done it plenty of other times before, but this team embodies it. And
Ryan Lindley. Sorry.
who's our other guy? Who's the guy that we took the picture with at Cardinals camp?
Coker.
Jake Coker.
Jake Coker. Next man up.
Yep, next man up.
Next man up. I said Coke. You're going to be the future.
Yeah.
But, those are those things because it's right in front of you and it's what you see in the first round. Jay Crowder can't hit anything. Cam Johnson's struggling.
1 for 15.
Campaign is having a tough time. And then they did what they needed to do. Game 5, run away with it. But I'm also wondering, I wonder if Booker came back for Game 6 because they were worried about Game 7 and Zion coming back. Because I heard some rumbling that if it would have pushed to Game 7, he was going to play. Now, obviously, it doesn't matter now. It didn't happen. But, that changes the game a little bit, at least. He's a physical presence. We were already having problems on the boards anyways. Our guys weren't shooting the greatest. So maybe that's why he came back and was ready to go for Game 6, just to make sure that we closed it out and didn't have to worry about something like that.
That's a good point. That's a good question to ask, and I'm going to ask you a follow-up here because you're a basketball mind. You've studied the game, you play the game, you still play the game, and you're always trying to get better, and you know what you're talking about. Also, I don't think I've ever said this, probably not on the podcast, but you and I coached at a capacity. We coached youth basketball. And so you have a coach and a player mindset, and you really see the whole game. In that situation, if Zion is healthy and ready to go, he hasn't played in a year and a half. Would you bring him back in the playoffs in a critical game?
At that point, yeah. It's a Game 7. It doesn't matter.
He's that much of a transcendent talent where you would bring him back.
He gives you
and not worry about him throwing off the chemistry.
He gives you a different type of advantage there. I mean, if you're going to Game 7 anyways, it's going to be a crapshoot. It's basically the best roll that goes your way is going to be.
Any team can win a Game 7.
Exactly. And it's obviously shown throughout the entire series because it's stretched the entire way. So if you have a guy like Zion who can just change the inside game, change how they have to guard, I mean, they could start getting him the ball down low in the post and going up against Jay Crowder. That's baby food, man. Love Jay Crowder, but Williamson would just work that motherfucker to the ground, man. I'm telling you. So absolutely, especially if you're such a high underdog as well. You have nothing to lose.
Yeah, that's a good point. I was gonna say that they're the underdog. You're a 1 against 8. It's an 8-1 matchup. So yeah, what do you have to lose if you force a 1 seed to a Game 7? Yeah, you got to throw all your chips on the table. That's a great point.
It all depends on the type of player as well. But yeah, I mean, 100% it'll mess with chemistry. But good teams and with good coaches will adjust and get people in the spots that they need to be successful, even if a guy hasn't played for however many. It's been over a year now, hasn't it?
Yeah.
But that can bring back to Ben Simmons. Would you trust putting Ben Simmons into a Game 4 with Steve Nash as your coach? Is he gonna get everybody into the right spots to be successful? They're already down 0-3.
No.
But is inputting him into the lineup when they need firepower
How's
really going to get you
swept?
any success?
That's not his thing. He's not a notorious scorer, as far as I know, Ben Simmons. He can finish at the rack, but he's a passer. And Kyrie's a passer. Why not just have Kyrie run it?
Right, and it's not like it opens the floor anymore.
Not at
People
all.
will just sag off of him and dare him to shoot anyways.
Exactly.
But that's totally beside the point. I mean, that's the only thing that I can really think of is it was Devin Booker was really healthy, 100% ready to go with his hamstring, had no problems for probably the last week.
Yeah.
Or B, there's some semblance of kind of worry because of how tough this series was fought and ground out and a grind out. To if you have the ability to close out in Game 6 and not have to go to Game 7. Devin Booker's a dog, man. He's going to go out there if he's even still a little bit hurt and help his team finish it out and on to the next one.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But I think you've convinced me. I think you're right. You do play Zion because, especially the fact I didn't consider until you were saying there, they already added CJ McCollum and shown that you can bring in a guy who's a talent and a superstar. I mean, superstar, all-star, whatever the term is in the NBA. CJ McCollum is that dude at the 2 guard.
All-star.
All-star.
Yeah, I'll say all-star.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, yeah, all-star. CJ McCollum's an all-star. LeBron James in his prime is a superstar.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good distinction. Kobe Bryant is a superstar. Not to get off topic. Did you see there's an NFL player or a college player named Kobe Bryant that got drafted? But it's COBY?
No. I did see that there was a college football player named
Yeah, let me
Chris
look at
Paul
that.
that was drafted.
Oh, Chris Paul got drafted too.
Yeah, I think he was like an offensive lineman or something.
Yeah. Here's Kobe Bryant is a cornerback. He got drafted by the Seahawks.
And how does he spell his name? Coby?
Coby.
Okay.
He's the new Kobe. But yeah, he's a 23.
Do you think he's afraid of helicopters?
He's a 23-year-old.
A little bit.
I would probably be if
Yeah.
I was him. Yeah, I wouldn't want to go near.
Okay, all right. You can get rid of that one.
No, but, okay, no, I don't want to. Okay, I don't want to go into Kobe Bryant. I'm sure he's going to have a great career. But no, another thing Mike brought up when he was talking there is Brick House Jay Crowder. He's built so many houses this playoffs. He's a humanitarian. He's helping out the homeless community. He's getting out there. He's putting up those bricks, making sure the houses get built, and shooting like 2 for 38 out there on the field. Again, Mike, from a basketball perspective, do you just let him ride and start at the power forward position and let him play 30 minutes? Or do you start getting guys like Torrey Craig and JaVale McGee more minutes? JaVale McGee had like 15 points in 8 minutes one game. And 10 rebounds. He was fucking killing it.
Start McGee and Ayton at the same time.
I'm down.
You want to go the Twin Towers route?
But you need someone to. But you need also. You can't. Biombo has been good during the regular season, but he had a few plays where he fucked up when he's coming in the playoffs. So you almost need JaVale to come in and not play at the same time as Ayton. So the next 4 options that you're looking at are Cam Johnson and Torrey Craig. If you go kind of small ball.
Yeah.
Because you just got to get, in my opinion, you just got to get Jay Crowder out of there. Until he can fix his shit, he is not helping on offense or defense.
I mean, yeah, you would give Cam Johnson more run, and you'd extend a little bit of the minutes for Torrey Craig. I don't know about Torrey Craig. He doesn't look like the same player.
No, I agree.
Hopefully he can kind of get his bounce back rolling through this Mavericks series. But, yeah, disappointed. A little sad.
Not the same. Again, Jay Crowder.
I love Jay,
Not
man.
the same player. Yeah,
He was great last year.
Yeah.
I love
In
him.
the playoffs, yeah.
I am so disappointed in his no-show right now.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, if you look back, people will say, "Well, it's okay if he doesn't shoot well. It's the other things he does. It's the hustle on the floor. It's his defense." And it's like, well, I mean, what defense? We know that Mikal Bridges was the one who was taking on the primary scorers against the Pelicans.
Didn't Crowder have like 5 fouls like the beginning of the third quarter in one of the games?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's just tough to continue to run somebody out there when your one job is to score from the outside wing and you can't do it. And it's just consistently you put down 6 games worth and you didn't do it for all of them. What's going to really change going into the next series, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe matchups are a little bit better, has more spacing, but the Mavericks run small. So the same way that Cody says he wants to play DeAndre Ayton and JaVale McGee, they can counter you by their lineups. They'll go Finney Smith, Brunson, Doncic, Reggie Bullock. All those guys are smaller players. I mean, Finney Smith is listed as a power forward. He plays smaller.
Okay, wait for the Twin Towers until we see the Bucks in the finals. I'm just kidding.
But okay,
No, that might have to happen.
It might. But and that's a great point. Like, I think another thing I've been seeing is I personally have not been a fan of some of the decisions Monty Williams has made as a coach throughout this series. Not calling timeouts when I think he should. And he has a track record of trusting players that I don't think he should trust and have faith in. A la Abdul Nader last season. Motherfucker didn't play at all at the end of the regular season. And then all of a sudden he gets healthy.
He didn't play at all in the regular season.
A little. He did during the regular season.
Well, beginning of the season, but he was out for like 3 fucking months.
Yeah, but then he comes back and he had times where he played okay and he was helping, but there were other times when it's like he looked lost and it was just, why is he out there? And I look at that and him having faith in these players and Mike, do you think he's been having questionable decision making, or do you think it's just kind of we got to trust him and trust that Chris Paul is also kind of a player coach, and what is their balance? I know it's kind of a loaded, multifaceted question.
Well, I mean, your main guys are always going to have a higher say than your DeAndre Aytons or Chris Paul and Devin Booker are going to be those guys who make those decisions. But it's still Monty's lineup, and he's going to roll with his guys. you can't predict that Campaign isn't going to be able to hit any of his running floaters or miss every layup that's contested.
Yeah.
You know, you can't predict that Jay Crowder is going to shoot 1 for 9 for 4 out of 6 games. You know, you have to roll with the dice. Your guys have got you where they've got you now, so you have to trust them. I mean, we set a franchise record in wins this year. I'm more so just disappointed with, man, dude, it's that time, man. You got to come out guns blazing and be hitting right away. You know, like if you're a role player, especially when your main guy goes down. Jay Crowder, you can't come out and shoot 15% game 2 through 5 when your main guy is gone. People have to pick up the slack.
He's becoming like what we call a black hole out there. Mike, you've played with a black hole. It's the guy who the second he gets the ball in his hands, he chucks up a shot. And this motherfucker becomes a black hole, and if he was making them, he's not a black hole. He's just a good cocky son of a bitch. But a black hole bricks every fucking shot and hits 13%. So Jay Crowder's becoming a black hole and isn't self-aware enough. Or maybe he's just, or Monty and Chris, his teammates are hyping him up and saying, hey, bro, I know you're missing them, but keep shooting those. I know you make them. Keep shooting.
They give him the green light no matter what.
Yeah, he knows he has the green light, and that's his game.
He's had some good looks.
He's the launcher.
Well, he's been semi-open
and that's
most of the time, and he just can't fucking make it.
I mean, their offense is set to get those opportunities for their shooters because that's what has been successful for this team. So it's tough to not see those consistently drop. And obviously, every team goes through shooting droughts and that kind of stuff. You just wish that it doesn't happen when your primary scorer gets hurt for an extended amount of time. Those are the one times where it's like, okay, when Devin Booker comes back and drops 31 in the first half, I'm okay with Jay Crowder shooting 1 for 7 because I didn't need it. But I need it in game 3. I need it in game 4.
Yeah.
When we're on the ropes and they're out rebounding us by 15, every opportunity you have, you need to hit those shots. It's easier said than done. I get it. But those are the times where it's like, man, you really got to step up.
Absolutely, and that's the thing. It's tick for tack because you're making adjustments. You gotta adjust because they're adjusting, so you gotta adjust to their adjustments. There's levels to this shit. You know what I'm saying? And for them to just keep rolling and running into the wall. I forget. Who's the guard that we got from the Nets?
Landry Shamet.
Landry Shamet. Yeah, I think that's the guy that I was almost thinking of Abdul Nader, because early in the series, he was rolling out there and kind of being Jay Crowder. He was helping Jay Crowder build those houses. They were throwing those bricks up. And he got a little better towards the end of that series to where I almost was like, shit, we should maybe start Landry Shamet instead of Jay Crowder. That's another guy, because he's taller than I thought. I thought Landry Shamet was a guard, but yeah, he's 6'5". He could play a 3. He could play a 3 position or in a small lineup, maybe a 4.
I don't know if I would put him at 4. I would go with 3, but I mean, he's good on the defensive end too. Yeah, I was very happy with how he finished off that series.
He finished well.
He hit key shots when he needs to. Absolutely. And so did Campaign. I mean, like, we can give him shit at the beginning, but then we still got to give him his flowers too.
True.
But man, Jay, I need it. I need it next year. I need it next series, and I need it consistently throughout the entire series to feel safe about this team going down the stretch. Because when it comes down to us playing the Golden State Warriors, which we're gonna play, Memphis is too young. Memphis is too young. They're dancing. Yep. John Morant is dancing when his guy is hitting a 3-pointer when it's 10 to 12.
Foolish in the playoffs. Foolish.
I did see that. That was today. Right?
That was today, yeah.
Entertainment purposes only. I love it. Let's put it on Twitter. But that's a young team. They're not going to pull out this series.
No.
So I need it. I need those shots to be hitting when it comes down to playing Golden State. And I need those shots to be hitting in the finals. Or else it's going to be the same thing as last year. We're not going to be able to close because we didn't have enough firepower on our end.
Yeah. And these I know, Cody, I want to hear what you have to say. But these.
Oh, no. I was just going to ask you guys a question.
Yeah, go for it.
Shoot.
What do you guys think about Mikal Bridges' Game 5?
Incredible.
All-time performance. Same as Chris Paul's Game 6. All-time performance.
And that's the thing. That's what I love about the Suns. And I keep saying they're the deepest. Not just their bench, but their roster. You can there's games where you can go to Bridges. There's games where you can go to Ayton. Ayton had a game, I think a 20 and 15 game or something close to that.
He scored 28 in one of them, right?
For Ayton?
Yeah.
Yeah, game 3, I think.
Yeah, and they have guys that show up when they need to. But then there's those scary games. We had at least one game, I think it was 2 or 3, where nobody showed up. It was just a no-show from the whole team, and we got fucked. And then it's a bad look when you're the 1 seed getting railed by an 8 seed. And that's what I keep telling myself, but it's not worth the argument. Is that they're not a true 8 seed? Because like I've said, if they had C.J. McCollum from the start, they're not an 8 seed. They're probably a 3 or 4 seed.
I'd say top 5.
Easy.
I wouldn't be surprised if they're top 5 next year, especially if they can get Zion back too.
They're talking about an extension for him.
I mean, I think the
That
other
would be a
thing
good
too,
team. Yeah.
Brandon Ingram missed like at least 10 of the last like 18 games or something like
Really?
that. So,
Yeah.
that puts them where they were. But
Well, they started dog shit, weren't they? Like 2 and 13.
yeah.
Yeah, they didn't start very good.
1 and 13, 2 and 13.
Can I just say, Brandon Ingram?
1 in 13 or
1 and
something like that.
13.
Some
Yeah.
some crazy.
How do you
yeah.
lose?
Yeah, I've been hot on.
I have one more question when you're ready.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been hot on Brandon Ingram. He's a solid talent. I just think he's Walmart Kevin Durant. I had to say it, but that's not bad. I would take Walmart Kevin Durant, because if you put Walmart Kevin Durant with C.J. McCollum, who's like a solid all-star too, and Zion, who's like a world star hip hop talent, where he can get the dunks and give you 35 games a year, and you pray to God that he's healthy for the playoffs, because that motherfucker, he's borderline. He's either gonna be Greg Oden or LeBron light. I don't know. Like he's like thick LeBron. Like he could fucking kill
He's
it.
leaning towards Odin.
Lethic.
Lethic. But yeah, he's going the Odin route, and I don't want to see that for him. But
I hope not, man. I really like him. He's just different. It's a different pace from what the game is today, where it's all about those catch and shoot threes or those deep 30-footers, the logo shots. He brings me that older 90s feel, banging down low and handling business and giving
Mike
guys the
banging
work.
down
You know
low.
what I'm saying?
banging.
But overall, right? We've seen this team from where they were and where they are now, and watched the progression throughout the season. And it's okay to be nitpicking at certain things, because we know where we want to be, and we saw what happened last year down the stretch, and we couldn't get it done. So we have to have these conversations about, okay, the guys who really got to step up. Jay Crowder, I need 4 for 8. I need 50% shooting from you, right? Campaign, I need 15 a night off the bench.
Yeah.
Cam Johnson, same. I need 12 minimum every night. So obviously you get a little bit scared. Was there ever any doubt in the first round? I don't think so. But where this team can be. I mean, we've seen it all this year. So it's just hard to watch sometimes and be like, man, you know what you got to do. Now let's just handle it.
Yeah, exactly. And I think if they tighten up the ship, if they start getting to where we know they're capable of being, it's going to be all right, and we'll be back in the finals. And like you said, Golden State they have veterans, Steph, Draymond. They're going to roll the young Memphis Grizzlies, and maybe not roll, but they're going to win that series.
I think it'll be 6.
It'll be 6.
Yeah,
It was a close game today.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that'll be the difference. It'll be good games. It'll be close games, pushing the pace. But the
Morant
Warriors
showed
will
up.
find a way to close it out.
totally.
Just with all of
Are
their
you guys ready for my
expertise.
question?
Yeah, I was just gonna say real quick. I wanted to. We're gonna look maybe more at the bigger picture of the NBA playoffs and talk a little bit about the East Coast potential matchups and a finals matchup. But yeah, Cody, go ahead. You had one more question.
Yeah, no, just for you guys, just for something super quick. So there's one series in the book, right? Would you tomorrow pay DeAndre Ayton a max deal? Go.
Chris, you want to start? Chris, you can start.
So I think
Just off this one series and what you saw during the regular.
off this series in the regular season, and I would even say looking from last year to this year, DeAndre Ayton has shown that he's maturing into the role that we need to play, and he's going a little bit more stronger at the basket. But Also, he's kind of trying, I think, to prove us wrong, where he doesn't want to be that assertive guy that just slams on motherfuckers' heads. He wants to be a little bit of a finesse player that hits the hook shots and like the fadeaways. And he's even starting to extend. We've seen him pull up for 3-pointers a little bit more frequently. I know I'm kind of dodging this question as I kind of think about it, but it's hard.
You're getting to it.
It's hard because Devin Booker's the star, and he's the. Ooh, okay. I just remembered another question I'm gonna ask. But okay, Devin Booker's the stud. We've already paid. He has the max, right? You can't pay too many guys the max. Chris Paul, you've locked him up now. I think until
only next year.
Is it only next
right?
This year, next year? No, I think.
Or did they give him 3?
I think it's 3 years.
Yeah.
At
I
least
think he's
3.
under contract for the next 3.
It was longer than I expected, 3 or 4.
Yeah.
It was a 3 or 4 year total deal.
Yeah, he's not gonna play.
There's only so much money to go around. So if you give 8 in the max, and they locked up Mikal Bridges. So, Robert Sarver has to be willing to exceed the cap a little bit, pay that luxury tax.
Well, if they win the finals, he'll do it.
That's it. That's what it is, Cody. That's what it is. That's what this season was all about is. And that's what's kind of not fair to DeAndre. 'Cause in my opinion, I feel like it's on the team as a total. Because if Sarver feels like he can keep selling out the season tickets, I mean, honestly, okay, I'm gonna quit dodging it. Yes, they're gonna pay him the max. They're gonna pay him the max, and they're gonna
agree.
keep him.
But would you pay him the max?
Yeah, I would pay him the max.
Would you, Mike?
Are you confident?
Because
in
a
that?
core for outlook of the next 2-3 years of a solid core of Devin Booker, Mikal Bridges, Chris Paul, and Devin Booker, you can plug and play veterans on
Wait,
veteran
how come
deals.
you left out Jay Crowder? Just kidding.
You don't. Come on now. And Cam Johnson, and that's the thing. That's what sucks is because Cam Johnson's gonna have to go. He's gonna go get paid. JaVale McGee, he's getting towards the end, but it's just gonna be a thing where there's only so much money to go around, and there's only so far you can go over the luxury tax. And love it or not, I mean that's the good thing. The Suns are making their money. They're selling out the arenas. They have a ton of merch. Devin Booker, I'm sure, is selling good jerseys, and you're starting to see, especially I see a little bit on social media, fans in other cities. And whether they're people that were born in Arizona or were Suns fans originally and moved out there or not, I feel like our reach is expanding. And it's the fair weather nature of sports, because people want to that are not really committed or don't live in a city with a sports team, they pick someone, and usually it's the team that's good at the time. Like there are so many people that became Yankees fans just because they were the really good team when they were kids, and they have no affiliation in New York whatsoever. So I think it's great if Phoenix.
Know a few of those.
If too many, man.
Way too many
That's
out
another
here.
conversation for another day. But
So you're gonna pay him, Mike. You're gonna pay him.
I paid him yesterday.
Oh.
I paid him 2 months ago. I paid him before the season started. I paid DeAndre Ayton.
you gotta lock him in.
I gotta lock him in.
Don't
now,
you love how he can Don't you love how DA doesn't get his deal before the season starts, but he's still so awesome through the whole regular season.
right?
And then Kyler Murray has to sit here
Yeah.
and bitch and bitch and bitch. But DA's like, you know what? I'll show you why you need to pay me, which I wish Kyler Murray would do the same. But go ahead. Sorry.
No, that's 100% it, man. That's a different mentality, especially from somebody as young as him. He put his foot in the ground and said, hey, this is what I'm worth. I'm not taking what you give me. Okay, you're not going to give it to me. Okay, I'm going to show you why I deserve it. And, man, these young kids, it's different nowadays. Exactly. I mean, we're seeing it with Kyler. But there's a whole big thing that I could talk about with this. You restructured Chris Paul's contract so you could do things like sign campaign to a smaller contract. You've locked in Mikal at a very friendly team contract of what? 20 mil a year, 30 mil a year?
I think
No.
it's just over 20.
20,
Just
a little
over
right
20.
It's
around
like
20,
4
yeah.
years, 80 something.
You have Booker already signed for a while. Once his deal comes around after he's all NBA first team and whatnot, you'll sign him to the Supermax, which every team is allowed.
Yep.
You sign DeAndre Ayton to the max because your core is Devin Booker, Mikal Bridges, and DeAndre Ayton. Now, I didn't say Chris Paul. Doesn't mean he's not going to be here for the next
He's
2 years.
36.
It's because those are your foundational pieces for the future. I need DA. I need him. His growth in his game has been
DA,
remarkable,
I love you.
man. his touch around
Yeah.
the rim, his mid-range game, you can just count on it. When he goes to the free throw line, I'm not worried.
Nope.
His intensity has finally stepped up, which we were always worried about for a very long time.
Yep.
You can see even in his touch game when he goes down into the post, he will bully guys to give him that space to do his little floaters now.
Mm-hmm.
It's him understanding that he's a beast and he's a
that
guy.
hook shot.
Exactly.
Automatic.
He's a guy to be
Yeah.
reckoned with, and he
Yeah.
can push guys around to get what he wants.
If DA is available on the stock market, I'm investing in DeAndre Ayton stock because he's a young guy and he's only going to get better. And Cody, you're right. The comparison is remarkable. DA and Kyler Murray, I don't want to make this a Cardinals topic, but the maturity level, you see the difference. DeAndre Ayton obviously wanted the extension before the season started. He didn't get it, so he said, fuck it. I'm going to put my head down, keep working, because I believe that if I keep working hard and show the maturity and trust in myself and my teammates, that I'm going to be okay and that this team's going to take care of me. And I know that's... Maybe this will burn me because maybe he doesn't get that deal and I'm speaking too early. But I think they, like you said, I think they are going to pay him because I would pay him. You would pay him.
I would pay him too. I think you're spot on with everything you said.
The NBA is still, you still have to have size, right? And if you have a guy who can play at his size with touch and still be physical about it,
I wish he got more rebounds.
you got to have guys like that.
But he,
I mean, I wish that he was a 28-15 guy
Yeah,
every
I
night,
know,
which
I
he
know.
honestly should be. But he's moving in that direction.
that's exactly what I was going to say.
He's moving there.
showing the progression. He's getting better every year. He's showing more maturity and he's showing that he can be more physical and that he's willing to do the work. And I think if he continues that mindset, and especially if they pay him, that'll be motivation. And if they keep winning, because I think another finals appearance is inevitable. And like you said, like we're speculating, it's going to be Golden State next. Golden State will be a 5 to 7 game series, and then in the Eastern Conference Finals, we're looking at Miami, Philadelphia, Milwaukee, or Boston. And Milwaukee got a game
It's
on
the
Boston
Bucks.
today.
Yeah.
Made them look real bad. It
That's
sounds
my
like Marcus
guess.
Smart is hurt on the Defensive Player of the Year.
No, he dislocated his shoulder, but he came back.
come back?
Though. Yeah, he came back.
Oh, that's impressive. And he's a tough guy. So yeah, he's a tough guy. You don't win defensive rookie, or you don't win Defensive Player of the Year by being a soft guy. So
Yeah, but the Bucks didn't even have Middleton, and they kind of made light work of the. Granted, it was
yeah, that's a good point. That's
it was
fair.
a good game. It was competitive, but they just I don't know. Bucks really kind of just blew it out towards the end.
I need the Celtics to win this series, man.
I don't know, dude.
I need it so
didn't-
bad.
It didn't look like they really had a good shot.
Mike,
but
what's your prediction for the Eastern? And Mike and Cody, what's your prediction for the Eastern Conference Finals? What do you think the matchup is going to be? Looking at this bracket,
Well, Embiid's got a broken face. Did you guys see that?
Yeah.
I did not. What?
Yeah, he's got like
Broken
an orbital bone fracture.
Ooh, that's serious.
Yeah,
Is it
so he's gonna
concussion?
miss the.
Did he take like an elbow? How'd that happen?
Yeah, who elbowed him in the face?
Siakam.
Siakam did. That's right. Like 2
Nice.
minutes left in the.
Yeah, he was doing like a
last game.
drive through like spin, and it was kind of incidental.
Oof.
Like Siakam was going up to finish, and wrong place, wrong time. He
Yeah,
took
but
the
immediately-
elbow right in the
Yeah,
chin.
he took it. And
Or
he,
right in the
he
eye,
ran
yeah.
like right off the court.
Damn.
So Embiid didn't. So because the Heat are the higher seed, so they're playing the first 2 games in Miami. So Embiid didn't even travel with the team. So he's not playing the first 2 games.
Well,
And
and
that's-
he's dealing with that finger.
That too, yeah. So then that's what I was like, damn. I don't know. I think the Sixers pull it off. I think it's Bucks Sixers. Because I like Maxey. I like Harden will show up, hopefully. I like Tobias Harris. I don't know. I don't believe in Butler. Go ahead, Mike.
I don't think Philadelphia has a chance without Joel Embiid.
Are we going to take a bet? He's only gone for the first 2 games. I
dude,
will
they
bet
already
you, I will
said-
bet you 5 Gardettos.
I will take
5
that bet.
Gardettos? That is a good
I will.
bet.
Wait,
I
I only
will-
have 4 Gardettos.
I will bet you the freaking the box, like the 50 box of the snack
from
size ones
Costco?
from Costco
That's a good
or
bet.
Sam's Club,
good.
whichever you prefer.
Just end
But
result,
even
right?
if he comes back, they already said that he has to have surgery on that finger in the off season. because it's like partially torn.
Didn't
Like he's
matter.
playing
He
through it.
scored like 32 points in that last game where he broke his fucking face.
Miami is a better built team. I just think that they win, and I think they win in 6. I want Boston to win so bad,
Well, Miami played.
but I think the Bucks pull it out. So I'm
don't
saying
know.
probably Heat Bucks.
He's gonna go Heat Bucks. I go. I think Sixers Bucks.
Sixers Bucks. Yeah. I just if that's really true about Embiid and if he's going to be out a while, I think Miami's pretty solid. You got Jimmy Butler, Tyler Hero, Kyle Lowry.
But Lowry's been hurt too.
And
He
he's been
hasn't been
hurt.
playing for Miami for a while.
Fair. Dragic. Is he still in Miami?
No, Dragic went
He's on
to
the
the
Nets.
Nets.
Okay, I got to get hip to the game.
Adebayo.
But no, I think Adebayo.
Bam Adebayo.
Yeah, that's a good point. Miami is a more solid built team right now if Embiid's out. Because if Embiid is healthy, I'd probably pick the Sixers. But I mean, obviously, looking
but
at
Embiid's
it.
coming back. He's only out for 2 games.
But look at Cody. Look, Miami's the first seed for a reason.
He's gonna wear the mask.
They earned that first seed for a reason. But the East is weak. The East is weak. Well, that's crazy that Milwaukee is only the 3rd seed because, like I said, Boston was balling out and Milwaukee is the 3rd seed. But so okay, getting to the point, I think it's going to be Miami, Milwaukee, and then I think Milwaukee is going to be in the finals.
Fuck.
Unfortunately, I think that's the case. But moving away from the playoffs and the NBA specifically, I wanted to talk about a more Valley-specific topic and something that's a little bit a lot sports, but a lot cultural to the Valley too. And it's something that I saw brought up on 98.7. I forget which show it was. I think it was Burns and Gambo, but I'm not totally sure. But regardless, I told Cody we had to wait till we had Mike in here to bring up this topic. But I thought it was a really good one. And it was that Larry Fitzgerald versus Devin Booker as a Valley icon. And I think the argument was who's going to be, at the end of the day, who's going to be more of the figure or transcendent or whatever. And I think if you look at the accolades and the trends, eventually, in my opinion, it's going to be Devin Booker over Larry Fitzgerald. And it's no fault of Larry that he never won a championship. He was always a great receiver. But he's kind of a quiet guy. He does his golf, and he does his community charity work, but he's not like a vocal guy, where Devin Booker is a little bit more expressive, more successful in what he's doing. What's your guys' take? Larry over Devin Booker, Valley icon?
Oh man, this is a tough one. I think there's so many different levels, and I think a lot of it has to do with what have you won. Even just within the Suns franchise, you could say, okay, who was the greatest Sun in the past 30 plus years? You could probably say, well, here, I'll take you down it. It was Charles Barkley for a time because he got the Suns to the finals.
In
of
the
course,
Jordan era, yeah.
they didn't win it. They couldn't get it. They couldn't get over the GOAT. And then it was Steve Nash because he has 2 MVPs.
Yep.
Charles Barkley doesn't have one. And now even who's the best point guard for the Suns? Some would say Chris Paul because he got them to the finals.
Yeah.
And Steve Nash could never do it. He only got us to the Western Conference Finals, I think, twice. Yeah. So it really all depends on legacy from, performance-wise in the finals and if he can really get the Suns to the promised land. I mean, Larry Fitzgerald has one of the greatest wide receiver playoff performances of all time.
That was a tear.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that already cements his legacy there. And football is such a different sport, whereas one man can only do so much, and he put them within 2 minutes and 34 seconds or 16 seconds. I can't remember. Obviously, too much time.
Yeah.
If he keeps going down the road that he does and continues his work within the community and the huge grants he gives to nonprofits and just is a staple within the community and wins here and wants to be here, I could see him overtaking Larry. Now, this is still years down the road because Larry has almost 20 years behind him. He was drafted in 2004. Everything that he's done for the community, the player that he was. Come on now.
Fuck you, Siri.
Siri.
Damn.
That's tough. the man that he is, the leader that he is, it's where Devin Booker is heading. And I could see him overtaking him, especially, people are always looking at what is now. So I wouldn't be surprised if Devin Booker can bring the Suns in the Valley a championship. I could see him overtaking Larry. I don't know if it would happen, say the Suns win the championship this year. I don't know if it would happen right away. But if he continues his career with the Suns, signs another Supermax deal, plays 15 plus years with the Suns, and has consistent success, absolutely. But Larry's Larry. There's a reason they call him legend.
Of course. And it's not to diminish anything Larry's done in the community. Obviously, he's been a pillar in the community and a great guy. And me and Sabrina were talking about this, like, there's a lot of pressure on pro athletes specifically and celebrities more broadly to be role models for young people. And I personally think that's unfair. Like, you sign up to be an athlete. You don't sign up to be a role model. Like, it's a great when they do. I love to see it, but they're not required to. But the fact that the guys like Larry Fitzgerald and Devin Booker, they both embrace it and they give back and they do it. Like, you and I have firsthand experience with a guy like Vontez Burfict, and I don't know what kind of community work or activism he does, but he's kind of
out by Juju Smith.
He's kind of a douche, like
Mr. Perfect.
But
he's great at ASU.
That's kind of getting too off topic, but I just think you look at Devin Booker. He's 25 years old. He's already been a 3-time All-Star. He got in there. It doesn't matter. He didn't necessarily at least one time was a legitimate vote in. This year, right?
But they'll just look at the number. They'll just see that it says 3-time.
Yeah.
Well, 5 years from now, when he's 6-7-time All-Star, they're not even going to remember those first 2 times where it was technicalities or anything like that.
And so far, though, it's comparable. Devin Booker has a finals appearance. Larry Fitzgerald had a Super Bowl appearance. They both came up short, played great games. I think Larry played a good game in that one.
Great game.
Mm-hmm.
Great game. Yeah.
2 touchdowns.
2 touchdowns. Cody, who won that Super Bowl? What were the 2 teams?
Shut your mouth.
No comment.
I forgot which.
Shut your
Dude, Mike and I are going to rip this fucking flag off your wall right now.
Mike, unfortunately,
Anyway.
I need to get some Cardinals gear in here, but right now Cody and Mike are in here recording in the studios, and I got a giant Steelers flag and the Steelers country no parking sign, so they're kind of out of bounds here. But no, I love the Cardinals too. Obviously, gotta root for the home team. They're my NFC team. Steelers are my AFC team, if that's allowed. But that's not what we're talking about. So sounds like Mike and I think that Booker has the potential, if he stays in the Valley and continues on course, to transcend Larry Fitzgerald as the Valley legend and really be that guy. Is that on base?
I mean, he's had a very similar career to Larry. Went through the
Thus
mud
far
to start his career.
Yeah.
It had very, very tough times to begin. Larry, I mean, how many quarterbacks did he play with?
Oh, so many, a dozen. Yeah, several.
I feel like it's over a dozen at least.
Easy.
At this point.
Easy.
But was still a consummate professional. Did his job, went to work, and showed up when the time was now and the lights were brightest. So they both have shown that time in and time out, at least within their careers, when it was those time frames. I mean, 2015 was the last time that the Cardinals made a deep run. With Carson Palmer and David Johnson. That was his rookie year, wasn't it?
Wasn't it 2016?
I think that was David Johnson rookie year.
2015 or 2016. All I remember is I think it was 2015 because
the playoff
when
run
we
with
got
Carson?
killed by the Panthers, that was when we took that picture of Chris right down by the trash can with his hands in his heads, and we put Cardinals 2022.
Oh, the prophecy year.
So the prophecy
Do we know where
still
it fulfilled?
alive, right? We were thinking
It
maybe
could-
last year, but this year is still
This is
technically
2020.
2022.
Yeah, this is 2022.
It still counts. Yeah,
Right.
because it could be this is the 2022, 2023.
Well, I think they say even though the season will stretch until February, I think it's still considered 2022 season.
Where it starts.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the
Whatever
true
it
prophecy.
starts.
Right.
Yeah, this
So
is
this is the true
actually
prophecy.
So
20.
this This is
Yeah.
the year.
This
Okay.
is it. This is it.
Okay, I wish we could find that.
What the fuck?
How did
was-
that get in there?
That was one of the sound bites I used to censor things. It was Cody pretending to be a dolphin from a previous episode. I don't know. I can't remember if that was from an actual podcast or an exclusive podcast.
I
but
think it might have been the exclusive one.
it might have been.
We'll let
You want to meet
Cody
You
get
want to meet
his.
Mickey Mouse?
Yeah.
We'll let Cody. Wait, but I have one thing. I'm
Go ahead,
very
yeah.
sad.
I'm sitting here patiently.
I'm very sad that Larry has kind of finished the career the way that he has,
Yeah, very
And-
unceremonious.
and obviously that's a testament to the person that he is. But man, all I wanted to do was give him his flowers and send him off
Right.
into the sunset, letting him know that he is the greatest Cardinal of all time. But I mean, that just lets you know what kind of person he is, and he's not just all about me, and
Right.
I'm just so sad. We're never going to see him suit up in a Cardinals uniform again. We're never going to see him suit up again ever
Period,
in general,
yeah.
but
Nah, he's gonna be cliff jumping in fucking Brazil or something.
more power to him.
Yeah, exactly. So wait, so
Yeah.
my turn?
Yeah, no, so yeah, Cody, exactly. No, I wanted to set this
Ugh.
up for you real quick.
Go ahead. Yeah, sorry.
I just wanted to say, obviously, you are becoming more of a basketball fan than you ever have been, but primarily, I've always known you to be a huge Cardinals fan and football first kind of guy. So, obviously, we all grew up with Larry Fitzgerald being the guy, and he was the most consistent because he played on the Cardinals his whole career. And now Devin Booker, he's a young guy. He's 25, so he's 13 years younger than Larry Fitzgerald. But obviously already accomplished so much. So yeah, I am very curious. What's your perspective on this question about Devin Booker versus Larry Fitzgerald? Because obviously Larry Fitzgerald pretty much has his whole resume out there, and Devin Booker is building his resume right now.
Yeah. So let's Okay. I'll say it straight up first, and then I'll go into the details. Right now, as we talk, no, Devin Booker is nowhere close to Larry Fitzgerald in a stance of Arizona's hometown guy, right? Is he going to get there? Is he on the right track? Yeah. Right now, Arizona's guy is Larry Fitzgerald for sports. The reason why is because think about, so you started off saying, Fitz was there through, the thick and thin or whatever. Book has been there since when the Suns were terrible.
Correct.
But when we're talking about marketability and popularity, football's, I think in this town in the last 5-6 years, even 7, ever since Kurt Warner, and when we lost Steve Nash and that whole era of the Suns team, the Suns' popularity just went down, right? And the Cardinals went up. So we were a football town until recently. So the Suns' recent success and their popularity has skyrocketed. So right now, Devin Booker is getting all the love. He's getting everything the last 2 years because they went to the finals. They got all this, right? So they're getting all the spotlight. So Book is building it right now, but Fitz was consistent with it. He always had it. So he shined when it was, when the light was dim. Not saying that Booker didn't do that either, but it's easier to shine when your team sucks when you only have 16 games versus 72 games, right? There's 72 games, right, in a basketball season?
Yeah, and it's hard to compare also if you look at the roster size. An NFL roster is 52 players, two sides of the ball, versus an NBA roster that's 15 and maybe an 8-man rotation. So
Yeah, but I'm scheduling, even if I'm just a regular football fan, I'm scheduling my Sunday around watching the Cardinals game, right?
Oh yeah.
And then given any given week, there might be 3 Suns games, So people are watching Larry Fitzgerald more than they might be watching Devin Booker until obviously the last 2 years. So what I'm saying is,
Yeah.
people are seeing more Fitz and not thinking about Devin Booker when he was early in his career. So that's why when I started off, what I was going off of, Fitz is still obviously on the top. I mean, shit, he owns. He's a minority owner of the Suns, so he's invested in that whole thing. But he's got it now. Book is working towards it. So how old is Book?
25.
25. How long do you guys think he's going to play for?
He is showing that he's going to have longevity. He's going to play into his late 30s.
You think so?
Without a doubt.
So you can give him another 12 years?
I think he loves it that much.
Yeah, another 12 years.
How many championships do you think they win in 12 years?
Oh,
Hopefully 2.
at least a couple, yeah. I think he could win 2 to 5.
All right, so who cares if they win it? Because Fitz never won.
Okay,
anything.
so first of all,
Go ahead.
I don't. This might be switching subjects, but I am starting to think I'm not in 100% sold that Booker's going to play his entire career in Phoenix.
Oh, okay.
That might be a hot take, but Mike, what do you think? Do you think Booker's
I think he will.
going to find a way to stay here for life?
Dude, it's so hard, especially in basketball. I feel like
Yeah.
there's only so many Kobe Bryants that come around that play 20 years for one franchise.
It's becoming increasingly more rare.
It's just because there's so many different moving pieces, and especially when you have such a smaller roster, those are very big personalities trying to match with each other. And just like any relationship, any professional relationship, I mean, you're going to go through ups and downs, and there's going to be tough points. Obviously, I could see something going, I wouldn't say awry, but, you could get to a mutual point where everybody's kind of like, okay, like we had a great run. We've done amazing things here. Now you can go and try and do your last kind of hurrah wherever. I mean, we saw that with LeBron.
Yeah, totally. But if Booker leaves, he'll never pass Fitzgerald and the Arizona.
You don't think so?
Legacy.
If he played 15 years if he played 12 years for the franchise, won them 2 championships, I would the Phoenix Suns all-time leading scorer, has made multiple All-Star games, has made multiple All-NBA teams.
I
could see that.
If he brings
but who cares what they brought home and gave to the people? It's all about loyalty, Like that's what.
I disagree.
Well, okay. Well, hold on. So even though if he's gonna win, he's gonna play 15 years. He's gonna win, 2 finals, but. Like, if he doesn't play his entire career. So, what would you think about this conversation right now if Larry went and played that last season with Tampa Bay and won the Super Bowl? How would this conversation go right now?
He'd still be the greatest Arizona Cardinal of all time.
Yeah, but
and he'd still be the greatest.
An argument?
An argument for who? For Devin Booker to have leapfrogged him at this point? No, not at this point, because Larry has a way more tape than Devin Booker has.
Yeah.
He's done way more things for the Valley, way more things for the Cardinals.
You really think Book's going to leave?
No,
dude, they're going to give him the super max
leave.
I don't think it's
over and over.
I don't think it's a foregone conclusion. But yeah, there's always a possibility. And yeah,
but he's winning here. Why would he want to leave? He's getting paid.
Well, he's not.
Top
That's
dollar.
what I'm saying. It's just very rare in the NBA for guys to make it through 2 supermax deals or 5-year deals and then come back and sign a third one.
No, I got you.
To finish off their career. It's the NBA is such a high traffic, high movement as far as roster goes. I mean, so is the NFL, but
as of late, it's been crazy. But
so I just think it's more so the bigger thing when it comes down to championships, especially in a city that doesn't have very many.
And thank you. That's what I was.
So championships matter.
Championships 100% matter.
Well, 100%. Because listen,
especially
so
here.
Even if he wins one, is he just automatically over Fitz?
No, Cody, listen to me. Obviously, because the NFL is, like you said, close. There's only 16 games, but it's like that's the inverse, right? So NBA play 82 games, but they have a 15-man roster.
That's
NFL
72.
they have a 52-man
I said
roster,
72, huh?
and they play
It's 82.
I asked you though.
Yeah, and they play a
82.
shorter
I was
season. So
go ahead. Sorry.
No, you're good. But what I was gonna say is. You're exactly right. Championships matter. And so if you remember the 2001 Diamondbacks, you remember players on that team. You remember Matt Williams, Tony Womack, Junior Spivey, Luis Gonzalez, because it was 1 year and one solid team, but they won a championship, so it's instilled in your brain. You're not going to remember the Western Conference Finals team as much as, me and Mike might, like the Suns team, like Quentin Richardson, but they didn't win a championship. That team never won a chip. And so the teams that are more memorable are the championship teams. So like you say championships matter, but Larry Fitzgerald never won a championship. So if Devin Booker wins a championship, I don't see how he doesn't surpass him.
Well, you're absolutely right. Like, do you remember the Cardinals team where we got whooped by the Carolina Panthers in the conference championship? No one remembers that team.
No.
I remember Carson Palmer with 5 picks. What the hell are you talking about?
Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah. Okay,
of course I remember that shit.
Yeah.
Of course I remember that. No. So championships matter. Of course they do. But I'm talking as a whole. So when it comes down to that, it's a popularity thing. And Book is playing into that popularity contest where they are the top 2 sports figures in this city. There's no doubt about it. You know, like name someone better than like when you were talking about the D-back shit, that was Luis Gonzalez. All the fucking soccer moms loved Luis Gonzalez. They wanted to suck his dick, you know? And he's over here.
Jesus Christ.
My bad. But you get what I'm saying. Like that was the cat. They took that name. That was the main name. And you know, he had the fucking walk-off hit to win he scored the winning run to win the World Series. The 7 what do you want me to jerk off the mic?
Yeah, like pretend like it's a dick and hold it in front of your mouth.
Okay, all right. Jesus Christ.
Because it's like it's very like you're good. You're doing great.
I got it. Okay.
We'll get you headphones for the next episode that can reach.
Okay. So was it out and here and there and here? All right.
Mike, Mike, you can hear, right? You're hearing the gain.
Yeah, I'm all good.
Yeah, Mike's good.
All right.
It helps. I'm telling you, it helps. Me and Mike got headphones. I got a splitter, master splitter. We're still figuring out this podcast and stuff, guys. Like, too. We did have pizza. We took a pizza break. This is like, I'm gonna do this mid plug before we wrap up this topic. You know, this is the 3rd episode of the Heat Check podcast. We're bringing Michael Benjamin in.
Plug.
Yes, sir.
A mini plug. But we're just doing this in my house, guys. We just I got some equipment. I got some microphones. And we're talking sports. We're giving you our take. And thank you. If you're listening at this point, it means that you're dedicated or you fast forwarded to this point. But either way, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. But wrapping up this topic, it's obviously we're talking about hypotheticals with Booker, and Larry Fitzgerald's resume is stone solid. So it's not a fair conversation right now. Maybe we can talk about this in 10 years. If Devin Booker does win a championship. But Mike, what are your final thoughts on this Devin Booker v. Larry Fitzgerald legacy?
My final thoughts are Larry Fitzgerald is the legend. He is the Arizona sports legend. He's put in his time. He's put in the work. He's been through the mud. He's done what he's had to do to be a consummate professional for this team. He's played with freaking every quarterback you could ever imagine. And he's loved Arizona, and he's been an Arizona guy.
Absolutely.
Through thick and thin, and has always wanted to be here. And he has the stats to prove it, right? He's been here for longevity. He went to a Super Bowl, so at least he has that on his resume. He did his job in that Super Bowl. So he's the greatest of everything that he's done. Steve Nash is still a better point guard in terms of Phoenix Suns lore than Chris Paul, even though Chris Paul has been to the finals. Yeah. Steve Nash has 2 MVPs. Steve Nash played 2 stints with the Phoenix Suns. Steve Nash has multiple All-Stars, has multiple playoff appearances with the Phoenix Suns. He beats them. Devin Booker has been a consummate professional.
Has he been better than Steve Nash, though?
No.
So that's what I'm saying. So Steve Nash doesn't beat Larry Fitzgerald. How does Devin Booker beat Larry Fitzgerald?
So I'm going back to your point that you said, too.
Sorry, go ahead.
If Devin Booker wins a championship this year, does he surpass Larry Fitzgerald on the Mount Rushmore of Arizona sports icons? The answer is no.
No, not yet.
The answer is not yet.
Not yet.
But he has so much.
But
that's a great notch in the belt.
Exactly. He will continue to rack up more All-Star appearances. He will continue to rack up first, second, third team All-NBA teams. Yeah. He will consistently be an icon for Arizona. If he plays 5-6 more years and has a championship ring with the Phoenix Suns, which would put him at 12 years with the organization. I think this is number 7 maybe year.
I think so. Yeah, he was 17 or 18 when he came up.
Larry had 16. That's getting close. If you start to get towards the 15-year mark and you have championship under your belt, he surpasses Larry Fitzgerald.
Absolutely.
But that's a conversation for
But
far down the road.
he's got to stick
Well,
around.
And the last thing I will say is, like, talking of Devin Booker and Larry Fitzgerald are both guys that do the community activism on top of being fantastic players on the field and on the court. Whereas Steve Nash, when he lived here, he did produce on the court, but and he did, I don't know, he probably did some stuff in the community. But after his career was done here, he fucked off and could not give a shit about Phoenix. Where I guess that will be seen. It seems like Larry Fitzgerald's rooted here and will probably stay here. Obviously, Devin Booker's still playing here.
He owns part of the Suns. He's not going anywhere.
No, and I don't know. I just think that there is it's not totally fair because there's a new generation and an old generation. But yeah, it's yet to be seen. But I think Devin Booker has the potential. But you guys are right. Right now, Larry Fitzgerald has the edge. He's the Valley icon. I don't want to break this down too much. And if hockey had, a side note, if hockey had more appeal,
You gonna say donor?
Shane Doan.
Yeah.
I know someone out there, if anyone out there listening might be a hockey fan, there's an argument for Shane Doan.
We already said fuck hockey earlier, so they stopped.
We don't talk about the Coyotes because I don't think any of us know anything about the Coyotes or give any type of shit about the Coyotes.
We were born in a desert. Why do we like hockey? We don't.
No.
You gonna go to a game next year though?
Maybe.
When they move
In
down
Tempe?
to Tempe?
Oh hell yeah, that's right. Okay.
Why not?
Well, I like drinking and I like.
It could be more exciting.
gambling, so-
Well, because that's the thing. That's the thing. Because you can justify going to a Cardinals game and making a day out of it because there's only 8 home games a season.
Exactly. It's an entire experience.
It's an
when you go down there.
experience.
Yeah, but that at least you can go to the hockey game and then go get hammered on Mill Avenue.
Yeah, but I don't want to do that on a Tuesday night when I live in
true.
the East Valley and I have to drive an hour plus to get out there.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Now I might actually be inclined to go on a
'cause,
Tuesday
yeah,
night.
you're right
And
there.
Because
it's
it'll be
insane. It's
it'd be
in
like
Tempe.
10
15
from
minutes
your
for me.
place.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah. So
Damn, dude.
it's
Why couldn't
possible.
they do
I do
that
like.
earlier?
I'm not opposed to hockey. I do like hockey, but it was bad when they lived in Glendale. So I'm glad they're coming back. But Cody, you're right. Hockey in the desert, not for me. So maybe we'll talk about that. Break that down on the next episode. But what do you guys say
We're gonna
we
break down how much we hate hockey.
What do you guys say we finish up this third episode? We bring Sabrina in here and talk some pop culture. Sabrina!
Did you yell?
Yes, absolutely. Cody was yelling. So Sabrina! Yeah, so we like to also bring a little pop culture spin in here on the Heat Check podcast. We'll finish up these last 15-20 minutes on a topic I've been kind of following closely, or Dev's definitely been following closely. Sabrina has also, is the Johnny Depp v. Amber Heard defamation suit going on in Virginia. And the Cliff Notes version of this basically is that Johnny Depp is suing Amber Heard for defamation, and she is countersuing him. So he's suing her
I thought
for
it was
50.
for defecation.
No, that's what you're doing in your pants every
Oh,
time you
my
fart.
bad. Hey.
No. So he's suing
I
her.
apologize, Christopher Heath.
Thank you, Cody Tallman. So it's Christopher Patrick. That's
Oh wait, we'll figure it out.
yeah. I'll just throw a dolphin noise over there. Anyway, no. So Johnny Depp is suing her for $50 million for defamation for an article she wrote in the UK Sun and
UK Sun? I thought it was.
fuck, I can't remember the American publication, the Washington Post.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah.
Or something like that.
Yeah.
But that's, I don't know. The Washington Post, I guess, is based out of Virginia. But anyway, that's been going on. So he sued her for $50 million. She countersued for $100 million. But he's arguing that because of the statements she wrote in this op-ed that was published, that he was kicked off of Pirates of the Caribbean and Fantastic Beasts and suffered monetary damages. So we've been following this trial, and so far, it's slated to go for 6 weeks. I think we're going into the third week now. Yeah, the third week now. Sabrina's gonna hop in here and join us, but
Hi, Sabrina.
Hello, everyone.
there you go. But so it's been Johnny's case to present so far, and he had to lay a lot of background, show his career through Hollywood and how he came to be, and how his value has increased over time through his works, starting with whatever the hell it was, Fear and Loathing, Edward Scissorhands, working all the way up to be Jack Sparrow in Pirates of the Caribbean, where he really made the most of his money. Anyway, him and Amber Heard had a very volatile relationship, and it's been shown that it was it was volatile. Like Sabrina, how would you describe it?
I think volatile is a good way to describe their relationship. I mean, there's not really too much else to say. It was there. I feel like there was obviously Amber, as it's shown in the case, was definitely more abusive, but I think it was an abusive relationship all around.
Yeah. So anyway, it hasn't looked good. And we kind of played through some of those clips, but like, Mike, have you heard anything about this case or anything going on with this?
Not too much. I think I was telling you guys earlier. I turned it on like the live feed, and it was one of his buddies from Australia. I can't remember what his name was. Older gentleman, but they were basically asking him kind of about his time that he's spent with him, what he's done, has he traveled, and he was talking about, oh yeah, I've been everywhere. I've been to Japan, I've been Australia, obviously, everywhere throughout the States. And then they started getting into, have you ever seen Mr. Depp on drugs? And he just basically said, oh, I've only seen him do marijuana. And then they started asking, basically inclining to, well, have you ever been around him when he's done cocaine? He was like, well, you know, there might have been some times where he went into the restroom and he was in there a little bit longer than when one normally would, even if they're doing a number 2. And then they were like, hey, well, what about, when he came out of those situations, was there anything different about him? And they just go about, oh, he was more alert. He was having more of a good time. They asked him about when he was on marijuana. He was just like the general response. Oh, he was more laid back. He was more at ease. And, of course, they show the action shots of Johnny and Amber just sitting there looking completely bored. Like, what the hell have I put myself through? Unfortunately, I haven't really been keeping up too much. I think it's entertaining as hell, obviously, especially when 2 famous people are even more in the public eye and they're talking about their dirty secrets, I guess, if you could say.
Yeah.
Dirty.
Well,
Dirty.
and
waiting for some kind of shit joke from you, man. What's going on?
Oh, well, I'm just waiting to talk about the turd scandal.
Yeah. Okay. So that's great. There's two major points I guess we could talk about real quick and that's one of them is Amber Heard took a shit in Johnny Depp's bed.
Or a dog.
And she blamed it on the dogs, and they had 2 tiny Yorkies, and Johnny Depp testified to that. Sabrina, would you leave a shit in our bed?
Just right to it.
Depends on what you did.
Dude, I'd shit in your guys' bed. Except it might be like diarrhea, though.
No, but I mean,
I'd make sure you eat Taco Bell.
Most couples get in arguments. I'd think all but most. Definitely, everyone's gonna have some disagreements here and there. But I remember when it first came out, however long ago it was, 4, 5, 6 years ago, when that report came out. It was one that it was a joke. Yeah, 2016.
Yeah, that was a long time.
They said, I think the reports were initially that it was a joke, and then now I'm recently hearing that she's blaming it on the dogs. Cody, what would you do if you came home and there was a shit in your bed?
I'd shit on top of it. Just kidding.
Wow.
Gotta mark your territory. No, I would just scoop it off and I'd flip the mattress. Call it a day.
Sheets.
Burn 'em.
Wait, if there's a shit on my bed,
Human shit.
who shit on my bed?
Yeah, whoever you.
I'd be worried that like I shit on my own.
That's the. Not your dog, but a human that you live with shit on your
okay,
bed.
so human. I didn't know. I'd probably vomit in their face.
I mean, let's be honest here. If there's any shit in Cody's bed, it's only him. It's nobody else's.
It could be Benny. Could be Beans.
But he said human though.
That's what
I
I'm
said
saying.
human,
If there's
though.
any
Yeah, human.
human
It would be
shit
Cody would shit
in
the
your
bed.
bed, it's just
beans. It might be me if I eat a lot of beans.
Right. Okay. So then the other event, Sabrina, is that Amber Heard threw a glass handle of vodka at Johnny Depp, and it hit his hand and a bar counter, and it cut off his finger. It severed his finger, right? Do you know at what point?
His fingertip. It wasn't like his whole finger, but it was his right middle finger, I believe.
Wait, what was the background on that? Were they just in a general fight, or
Yeah,
did something
well,
happened?
so
or?
they show a general trend and a pattern where they would get in these arguments, and at a certain point, Johnny Depp would want to just be like, "Hey, leave me alone. Let's go our separate ways. I want to get away from you. This isn't getting anywhere. We're just bitching back and forth." And she would not let him. She would break down doors. She would bitch and moan until it got to a point where he's sitting there, for better or worse, drinking, trying to just be like, hey, we'll deal with this tomorrow or we'll deal with this later. And he's not wanting to engage in whatever the argument is. And she is frustrated with him not wanting to engage. So she chucks a handle of vodka at him. And his hand's on the bar, and it hits his hand in the bar and shatters. And whether it was the impact or shrapnel, it cut off his fingertip. And he ended up having to go to the ER and have it reattached.
Dude, think about the force it would take to, like, just throwing a bottle at somebody and cutting the tip of their finger off.
I think it's worth mentioning that she actually threw a bottle at his head first. He dodged it, it missed, and then she threw the vodka bottle and it hit his hand. So she threw 2 bottles of liquor at this poor man.
And the whole
so wasteful.
The whole pop culture, like, or whatever cultural impact of it is that and to not get too whatever into this, but it's started with her really taking advantage of the Me Too movement, and her claiming to be a victim and saying Johnny Depp was an abuser, when a lot of the evidence points to her being more abusive, or if not, best case, mutually abusive, where they were both abusing each other, and it was just a horrible relationship. But she tried to play the woman victim card and kind of ran with it, and that's what the cause of the defamation suit overall is, that she tried to garner sympathy playing the sole victim, and it's bigger implications in that regard.
Is that what some of those voice recordings that came out, where she was basically saying, hey, try and come out and say that you are a victim of abuse or anything like that?
Yep.
We'll see
Tell the
who
world,
really
Johnny.
believes you, that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
Tell
she
the world,
recorded
Johnny.
everything,
Here's
and that
Johnny.
might be her downfall.
Wait, she was the one who did the recordings?
Yeah.
I'm almost certain.
She was the one who normally was recording them. I don't think Johnny ever, at least to my knowledge, was the one who started recording or videotaping anything.
He's probably too fucked up to even think to
Yeah,
record.
and she had a ton of.
He's all coked out.
He was coked out. Sounded like he drank a lot of whiskey. He snorted a lot of coke, smoked a lot of weed. And it's funny because she would get, obviously there's like a 20-something year gap. He's pushing 60. She's in her late 30s.
Dude, I can't believe he was 60. I thought he was...
Johnny Depp's old, man. But
Great, I said 52.
she'd be mad about him like
Fuck.
jamming with old guys, and it's like old rock stars, and he's just like hanging
That's
out with
badass.
famous people. Yeah,
That's cool.
because Johnny Depp just wanted to be a musician originally. That's what's kind of
Yeah,
because he had to
that's
lay
what
his
he started out,
backstory.
yeah.
He didn't even want to be an actor, and he just kind of stumbled
Yep.
into it. Being in a Wes Craven film, I don't even know what the film was, but irregardless, from going from not wanting to be an actor to being Jack Sparrow and in one of the most memorable Disney franchises of all time, it's incredible. But
It's the only Disney movie I'll watch.
yeah, I won't fully absolve Johnny Depp. It sounds like he has his demons, and obviously, like, being an addict is hard for anyone, and we've all, I think most of us have known someone who's suffered from addiction. And it sucks, and I hope for him the best for him and for his family. But for him to have to go through this, I am Team Johnny, and I think it's just terrible that she's been able to drag him through the mud. And honestly, I think legally the case is going to result in either it being just void, a wash, nobody gets anything, or Amber Heard will win, some X amount of money, because his career has been far more successful than Amber. She has nothing. Aquaman was her best hit, and that was a flop. I mean, you guys got thoughts?
Thoughts about Amber Turd?
About the trial in general, what you think the result might be?
I really hope Johnny wins. He probably won't, though. I think it's going to be a wash, kind of like what you guys said. But dreaming's free, right?
Yeah, and like Sabrina, like what you said, that he may lose in court, but he'll win in the court of public opinion, right?
She looks terrible.
Me?
No. Yeah.
No, Amber.
What do you mean you? What? No, I would have said Sabrina. You look terrible.
Okay. Sorry.
Don't shit in my bed, Sabrina. Sabrina's not allowed in my room.
Anyways,
Sorry.
yeah, I think it boils down to the fact that like Johnny's doing a great job of making her look like a big piece of shit, and I think that's the best thing that his lawyers could do, right? Because when you boil it down to the fact that he's suing her over this op-ed, 2 sentences out of this op-ed, and what has he shown to proven monetary losses? He has his testimony that Disney fired him 3 days later, but there's been no other evidence of the fact that he's had monetary losses due to this specific thing, right? And it still could be because of the abuse and what Amber said, but she didn't name him in this op-ed. So I think very strong chance he could lose if the jury's going to look at it that way, and that's what Amber Heard's lawyers are just going to try to keep it about. But I mean, who knows? I mean, they're absolutely destroying her in every other way.
Yeah. What about when Amber Turd, her attorney objected to his own question?
Yeah,
You guys
there's been so far
Embarrassing.
yeah, absolutely embarrassing. There's been a lot of
that's
moments
funny.
like that where her attorneys
Like,
just
hearsay.
yeah,
Oh.
they look really bad. But they have to counter the case that's being presented, and then they're gonna have their chance to present their case. So we're getting to the halfway point. So I mean, they do look. I think in the court of public opinion right now, like kind of Sabrina was saying, like Amber's side looks bad, but they're gonna have their chance to present their case and try and make Johnny look bad. So we'll see who they bring forward and everything. But maybe we'll have part 2 on this when we convene for the June episode.
There'll be a lot more to talk about, I'm sure.
Definitely, without a doubt. But I
Might
think
wrap up by then.
yeah, it could be done by then, and I think it probably will be actually looking at the calendar
We'll
because
have
I
an
think there's
outcome.
3 or
We'll
4
have a
weeks left.
decision by then.
Yeah, we'll have a
probably.
decision and we can look at it more broadly. But who knows? With pop culture, it's ever changing. They might
We need to know who pooped in the bed.
who pooped in the bed. We could be talking about Jake Paul by then, though.
Fuck Jake Paul.
Jake Paul. Anyway,
That's someone's bed I would shit in 10 times out of 10.
You pooping in Jake Paul's bed?
poop,
I would shit in Jake Paul's
in his
bed.
bed.
Dude, I'll eat Taco Bell for a week straight and go to Jake Paul's house.
Just to get it nice and mushy.
Yeah, I'll shit in his bed and his mom's bed.
Hell yeah. Well, thank you, Sabrina, for joining us for this
Sorry.
segment once again. Mike, welcome. He's an official co-host. He is going to be here.
Thank you, guys.
He's a pillar. No, I'm glad we were able to get this going. We're going to keep it going. Thank you to anyone who's listened this far in. We just have a lot of fun doing this. Obviously, we don't have any sponsors. We're not making any money. We're just doing this for the hell of it. So we really appreciate it. We'll be back.
Turd.
We'll be
Sponsor
back.
me.
And
For shits and giggles.
shits and giggles.
Turds and giggles.
For turds and giggles. All right, well, play that horrible outro. We'll work on that music and figure it out. But thank you so much.
Wait, what's the outro?
Sitting in
my
Bentley,
thinking about these hoes. All I do is poop in bed. Kill 'em like Amber.
I poop 'em like
Are you
Amber.
low end or am I low end?
Simpson something.
Well,
we can both be.
Okay. Sitting in my Bentley, thinking about these hoes. All I do is kill 'em like Nicole. Simpson flag crimson, smoke 'em like Winston's. I just bought a new chopper, I treat it like an infant. I lighten up a stogie, it's longer than a hoagie. Situation's getting fishy and I don't eat anchovies. The world kill 'em all, she answers when I call. If the cops pull us over, she gon' hide it in her drawers.
See, I come from a place where
Stars never shine, and God is accepted.